Welcome back, my cosmic family. You already know what kind of stories we tell here. The kind you don't stumble into. The kind that find you. The kind that sit beside you in the dark and breathe with you. The kind that remind you just how small you truly are in a universe that has never once learned your name. Tonight I bring you a story about a therapist and the client who didn't come seeking help, but seeking a human mind to open. A being who carried too much truth inside him and wanted to see if someone, anyone, could bear the weight of knowing. This is cosmic horror, not the kind with teeth and claws, but the kind that dismantles you with a whisper. The kind that teaches you something you can never unknow. The kind that leaves you staring into your own reflection and wondering which part of you is still yours. So settle in, turn off the lights, and brace yourself for the knowledge that doesn't kill you. Not right away. I first noticed him because the air in the waiting room stopped. Not in any way I could reasonably describe in the risk assessment. The clock still ticked, the radiator still hummed quietly, but there was a sense of pause, as though the room itself were inhaling and forgetting how to exhale. He sat in the blue chair nearest the window, and I think later, that's what bothered me most. Everyone chooses the neutral middle chair. It's closest to the door, safe. But he picked the seat furthest from escape. Jonas, I called. He looked up at me, and for a second everything I knew about faces disappeared. He was beautiful. Not in the ordinary way, not in the way of jawline, cheekbones, symmetry. His beauty was arrangement, like someone had assembled a human from memory and done a disturbingly good job. His features were androgynous and soft, but his gaze was ancient, and that combination made my stomach tighten. Yes, he said. His voice was clear, accentless. That's the name I am using. Something about the way he phrased it made my scalp prickle. But I smiled, because that's what I do. I'm Dr. Ellen Rowe. Come through. He stood with a slow, precise movement, as though mapping the distance between joints in real time. When he walked past me, the faint smell that followed him was not cologne, not sweat, not anything I could pass. It made me think of the night sky on a freezing beach. That sharp, metallic, endless scent. We stepped into my office, my sanctuary. My well-trodden safe space with its radiator, its ticking clock, its bookshelf of diagnostic manuals and philosophy texts. 2 chairs angled together, a box of tissues within reach, the framed print on the wall showing a forest path in autumn. I gestured to the client's chair. Make yourself comfortable. He sat, perfect posture, hands folded loosely, a smile that didn't quite touch his eyes. I took my own seat, notebook on my lap. So, Jonas, what brings you here today? He held my gaze for a long time. Then he said, almost politely, I would like to know how much you can take. I laughed. It slipped out before my clinical brain could stop it. All right, I said lightly. Let's try a different angle. What made you decide to seek therapy? He tilted his head, a small bird-like movement. Loneliness, he replied, and an experiment. The radiator hummed. The clock carried on, oblivious. I made a small note I didn't need to make, buying myself a second of time. Can you say more about the experiment? Yes. He folded his hands more neatly. I am here to share knowledge. I want to observe what happens. What kind of knowledge? I asked. The true kind. It was such an odd answer that I smiled again reflexively. All knowledge is true from someone's perspective, I said gently. But I'm more interested in your experience of it. When you say true kind, what does that mean to you? He watched me with an intensity I'm used to from traumatized clients, not new ones. Only his gaze didn't have the ragged desperation I've seen so often. It had curiosity. Has it occurred to you, he asked softly, that most of what you believe is not only wrong, but structurally incapable of being right? A small flicker of irritation mingled with unease. That's quite a broad premise, I replied. Are you talking about personal beliefs, religion, science, relationships? Yes, he said. I waited. Silence is a useful tool in this line of work. Usually. He didn't rush to fill it. He simply sat, and something about the room felt like it was narrowing around us, as though the walls leaned in just a fraction of a degree. I have had others, he said eventually. Before you. I gave them a little, a taste, the first sliver. I wanted to see if a human mind could widen enough to hold it. None of them lasted very long. I swallowed. Lasted in what sense? Sanity, he said. Continuity, existence. I decided, then, that this was psychosis, delusional content, possibly grandiose. My training reached for footholds, schizophrenia spectrum, schizoaffective, possibly a manic episode with psychotic features. Jonas, I said, keeping my tone soft, neutral. Has anyone ever spoken with you about unusual beliefs or experiences that others might not share? Voices, visions? He smiled. It was unbearable. You all think in such small categories, he murmured. Disorders, conditions, pathologies. Your words are cracks in a tiny bowl. I'm talking about the ocean. He leaned forward. Would you like to know, he asked, something the universe has never told you? The hair on my arms stood up. My first thought was, this is important transference material. My second, quieter thought was, the room is too quiet. Where is the road noise? Where are the footsteps in the hallway? Why can't I hear the building anymore? But I am a therapist. So I said, You can tell me anything you feel safe sharing. He looked delighted. That, he said, is the problem. And then he opened his mouth, and the world nudged just a little, like it slipped 0.5 millimeter out of place. And there you have it, my cosmic Narratrix family. One more story whispered from the far edge of sanity, stitched together from the places where meaning cracks, time falls, and the human mind becomes a fragile, flickering thing. Our therapist survived, at least her body did. But you and I both know that survival is not the same as returning. Knowledge has a shape, and once it presses into you, you keep that dent forever. As always, one of the tales in this universe of ours is never quite what it seems. But isn't that the beauty of it all? Until our next nightmare together, remember, you are small, you are temporary, and something out there is watching you with the same curiosity you reserve for dust motes in a beam of light. And remember, not every story wants to haunt you. Some, they just want you to understand.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.